Power of Forgiveness, Healing Yourself and Others. Chapter 1. The Echo of Silence. Emily Dawson stood on the edge of the old wooden pier, staring out at the lake that had once been her family's retreat. The water shimmered under the late afternoon sun, casting golden reflections that danced like ghosts of happier times. She hadn't been here in 10 years, not since the day her brother Ryan walked away and never came back. The silence between them had been deafening. It started with a fight over something now trivial and ended with years of bitterness. Her parents had passed away without ever seeing their children reconcile. That guilt, that ache, had become part of Emily's identity. Forgiveness seemed impossible. But now, something had changed. She reached into her coat pocket and pulled out the letter. It had arrived 3 weeks ago, written in Ryan's handwriting, one she could recognize anywhere. "I'm sorry," it began, "for everything. I'm in town. I'd like to talk." Chapter 2. A Past Undone. 10 years ago, Emily and Ryan had been inseparable. As kids, they'd built tree houses, invented games, and conspired against chores. But adulthood brought pressure, expectations, and blame. When their father became ill, Ryan accused Emily of abandoning responsibility, while she claimed he was controlling and unkind. The last words they'd said were cruel. Now, as she sat in the tiny lakeside cafe sipping coffee, her heart thudded with anxiety. The door chimed. She looked up, and there he was. Ryan looked older, wearier. His eyes searched for hers, hesitant, apologetic. He approached slowly, like a man unsure of his welcome. "Emily," he said. She nodded, her throat tight. "Ryan." Neither knew where to begin. Chapter 3. Cracks in the Ice. The conversation was stiff at first, awkward and cautious. They spoke of the weather, the town, and the cafe's new owners. Then, with trembling honesty, Ryan said, "I thought you hated me." Emily looked down. "I did. Or maybe I hated how much I missed you." The confession cracked something open. Pain flooded in, but so did relief. Ryan shared his regrets, not just about their fight, but about years lost. He had gotten married, then divorced. He had a daughter, Lily, now 8, who wanted to meet her aunt. "I've been in therapy," he said. "I learned a lot, mostly how much I hurt people trying to be right." Emily was quiet. "And I learned that holding on to anger doesn't protect you, it just poisons you." Chapter 4. The Letterbox. They spent the afternoon walking around the lake, sharing memories and apologies. Emily cried when Ryan admitted he hadn't visited their parents' graves out of shame. She took his hand and said, "We can go together." That evening, Emily pulled out an old wooden box from the attic, their letterbox from childhood. It held crumpled notes, doodles, and secret messages written during lazy summer days. They laughed, cried, and remembered who they once were. Inside the box, Emily found an unfinished letter from her father. It read, "No matter what separates you, find each other again. Life's too short to be strangers." It felt like a blessing sent through time. Chapter 5. Lily's Smile. A week later, Emily met Lily. The little girl had Ryan's eyes and a cautious heart. But Emily knew how to break through walls. She'd built a few herself. They bonded over baking cookies and silly stories about Ryan's childhood. When Lily hugged her goodbye and whispered, "I'm glad you came back," something in Emily healed. Forgiveness wasn't a single moment. It was a series of choices. Each laugh, each conversation, each kind word built a bridge back to love. Chapter 6. The Healing Tree. Spring came early that year. Emily and Ryan returned to the lake to plant a tree in their parents' memory. They chose a maple strong, resilient, and beautiful through every season. As they dug into the earth together, Emily felt her heart lighten. The weight of resentment had begun to lift, and in its place, she found peace. Ryan placed a small plaque beside the tree. It read, "Forgiveness is the root of healing." They stood in silence, not the kind that divided, but the kind that connected. Chapter 7. Letters to the Past. Emily began writing again, not just in journals, but letters she never planned to send. She wrote to her parents, to her younger self, to Ryan, and to the pain she had carried. She forgave them all. And in doing so, she found her purpose. Emily started a support group in town called the Healing Circle, where people shared stories of loss, anger, and redemption. It became a haven for those seeking peace. Each person who came brought a different wound, and each one left a little lighter. Chapter 8. A Mirror of Grace. One evening, a woman named Sarah attended the Healing Circle. Her brother was in prison, and she hadn't spoken to him in years. "He doesn't deserve forgiveness," she said, tears streaking her face. Emily gently replied, "Forgiveness isn't about deserving. It's about freeing yourself from pain." Sarah later wrote a letter to her brother. He responded. They began to rebuild. Word spread. More people came, some angry, some broken, all human. And Emily listened, not with judgment, but with compassion. She wasn't just healing others. She was healing herself again and again. Chapter 9. The Power Reclaimed. Years passed. The maple tree by the lake grew tall. Lily became a teenager, full of dreams and questions. She often asked Emily, "Why did you forgive Daddy?" Emily would smile and say, "Because I love him more than I hated with forgiveness." Lily would nod, trying to understand. One day she would. Forgiveness had not erased the past, but it had changed the future. Ryan became a better father, a better brother. Emily became a light for others. Pain had shaped them, but it no longer controlled them. Chapter 10. Full Circle. On the 10th anniversary of their reunion, Emily returned to the pier. This time, she wasn't alone. Ryan, Lily, and several Healing Circle members stood with her, releasing paper lanterns into the sky, each marked with names, regrets, and hopes. As they floated upward, Emily whispered, "We let go so we can rise." She looked at her brother. "Thank you for writing that letter." He smiled. "Thank you for answering." The lake shimmered again. This time, not with memories of loss, but with reflections of grace, courage, and the infinite power of forgiveness.